everyone, I'm Melissa with North Carolina Cooperative Extension, Edgecombe County 4-H. Today I want to show you our oil versus water experiment. This will tell you that the different properties in the water do not mix with the properties of the oil. You may know that some things do dissolve in water and will be mixed around with water. Let's say if you have lemonade or tea or orange juice, or even sugar and salt. When those are mixed with water, they will dissolve completely and be completely mixed around. Well, that's not the same case with oil. Now I have vegetable oil, but other oils will do the same thing. They are called hydrophobic. They have properties that don't dissolve in water, and that's due to the polarity. Now the droplets in water are polar, meaning that they are positive and negative, and they will attract each other. Where the properties in the oil and the molecules in the oil are nonpolar, so they do not attract. Now when you mix the oil with the oil will consistently sit on top of the water. And you can stir it around, and for a second the properties of the oil and the molecules will be broken down into smaller pieces, but after a couple minutes they will come back together and rise back to the top. There are also things called emulsifiers. Now emulsion is when the water and the oil are mixed together. However, that won't last very long. Like I said earlier, if you shake and stir, the oil will mix together to cause an emulsion. Now emulsifiers keep the water and the oil mixed together for a longer period of time. Examples of this would be dish soap. Now when we want to get the oil and the grease off of our dirty dishes, we need something that will dissolve the oil with the water of the sink. Now the soap will break down those oil particles and mix with the water, and they'll wash away. Also, egg yolks. When you're making a cake and you add oil, eggs, and some sort of liquid like maybe milk that is majority water, then you want those ingredients to be mixed together and stay mixed together so you can get your batter. And that is where the egg yolks come in. They are also one of the emulsifiers. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour my oil into my cup. You might be able to see the bubbles as I pour it in, how they are not mixing with the water right away. And there is definitely a clear line from where the oil is and where the water is. Now this represents the density that I had mentioned earlier. Since the oil is lighter, it will stay on top of the water. Now to create the emulsion, I will stir them both together. Now remember, when they're stirred together, they will be mixed for just a couple of minutes. And even a couple of seconds, you will notice the oil start to rise to the top. Now I'm going to go ahead and shake it or stir, and you can see the little bubbles mixing with the oil. But even after a couple seconds, the water is still at the bottom and there's a clear line of where the oil sits on top. Now in this layer, they are mixed just a little bit. You can tell that the molecules of the oil are broken down into smaller pieces. That allows them to be mixed better. Now, once we give this more time, the bubbles will pop and the oil will be on the very top of the cup, just like there were previously. This is the emulsion that we were talking about. Later, I will add soap to create a more permanent emulsion. In this view, you can also tell the water is at the bottom, the oil is at the top, and then in the mixture are the bubbles with the oil and the water together. Now it's been a couple minutes since we stirred them together, and there's more of a clear line with the oil at the top and the water at the bottom. There are still a couple more bubbles in the middle, but as we give it more time, they will completely go away. Now the dish soap is the emulsifier. It will break down the oil and cause the water and the oil to be mixed together more permanently. Now as I add the soap, you can see that it goes straight through the oil and sits on top of the water in that mixture. I'm gonna go ahead and stir, and we'll see what happens as the emulsion takes place. Now the soap, of course, will create bubbles at the top of the mixture as it's stirred together and air is incorporated. Now, not as quick as before, right after stirring, you don't see that clear separation between the water and the oil. That means that the soap is doing its job. It will probably separate just a little bit due to the quantity of the oil that was in there. If I use more soap, it will be more permanently mixed together. Now we'll give this a little bit of time and I'll show you again to see how permanent this will be. Now it's been a couple minutes since I stirred the mixture with the soap included. And we do have more of a separation between the water and the oil, but the oil is majority mixed together and broken down with the soap. There's no clear layer like we saw before between the mixture and the oil. So I would say that we had a successful video and a successful experiment. Thanks for watching.